This is the fellow eye of a lady who had operated for a Coloboma lens, and this is the left eye with a similar condition. So after putting in my 2.2 millimeter incision, both my side port incisions, I go ahead and under air I stain the anterior capsule with trypan blue. It would have been better if I had used a heavy OVD to tampen out that clear area. Anyway, it didn't make any difference to me in my surgery. So once I have put in the stain and I express both the air and the trypan blue with 2% HPMC, and I initiate my capsular excess with my bent 26 gauge needle. It's not going to be very easy to do this rhexis, and with the help of my micro rhexis forceps, I propagate this tear. I am trying to make an adequate rhexis by spiraling it out. It's not going to be easy. However, it is being done with a lot of patience. So just holding on to that small tag and trying to increase the size of this rhexis by whatever few sub millimeter or millimeters. Anyway, I finally got an adequate rhexis, after which I go ahead with my hydrodissection. And once I think I have an adequate hydrodissection, I go ahead and place my CTR within the capsular bag. And this is not going to be easy to place, and I probably should have used some support while inserting the CTR. I have targeted the lower area as there are no zonules there, so there's nothing much for me to damage. Whereas if I put it the other way around, I may break some of the good zonules on the other side. Anyway, finally, to put in the CTR, I use the help of a dialer by engaging its eyelet, and it's here I should have supported that CTR, but I didn't. Anyway, I finally let go of the CTR within the capsular bag. It's gone well into the capsular bag with the help of two dialers. Although there was a bit of a hiccup there. Once that is done, I target the nucleus with my 2.2 phaco tip, and I am doing the direct chop. And you can see that in fact, when I am doing my chopping, you will actually be able to see the CTR ring within the capsular bag. That's the first chop, and this took a long time. There you can see that CTR ring there. I had to make multiple chops by keeping on coming out of the AC, putting in HPMC, rotating the nucleus, all of which is edited. It was a very laborious process to chop this nucleus. So the video actually doesn't show the labor that was involved. There you can see the CTR ring. And it is pretty scary when the CTR ring keeps coming at you. However, with some control, you can somehow manage just to emulsify and remove that nucleus. So one heminucleus done. Now to rotate the other heminucleus, not very easy, because while the process of rotation itself can dislodge the entire bag, so I have to be very careful when rotating. Exert as minimal torque as possible. So once I've got the rest of the heminucleus, and it's more than a heminucleus that is left, I go ahead with my phaco tip and start targeting the segments. I literally have to push back the bag with my dialer, lest the whole bag comes into my phaco tip. I am at pretty low parameters, so it is taking time for me to emulsify and eat up these segments, but I am getting there. I've kept most of the emulsification part just to show you how difficult these cases are. And there, that's done. Now the next difficult part would be removing the cortex, and it's not going to be easy because you have a colobomatous lens and you have a CTR holding all this pretty formed immature nuclear cortical fibers within the bag, which is held back by the CTR. So I try to tease this out along the circumference of the CTR, and frankly speaking, the really stubborn cortex I just left alone. But I made sure I took out everything from the superior aspect of the bag. This way the bimanual is very useful. And once I've taken out most of the cortex, there is some cortex inferiorly, as you can see. I then put in some HPMC, inflate the bag, put some HPMC over the cornea as well, and then inject a single piece Hoya lens which easily goes through this 2.2 mm incision, and I am targeting to inject it directly into the bag, and look what has happened. In my enthusiasm to inject it into the bag, I haven't noticed that it has actually injected the other way around. So that's another problem now I have to deal with. So using two Sinskey hooks, I just somersault this nucleus, this IOL over, get it in the right direction and tuck it into the bag, and this was no easy task, believe me. Once in the bag, I'm much more happy. I remove all the HPMC, put in some pilocarpine, then put in my intracameral antibiotic, check the wounds and conclude my surgery. And I've been following up this case. The case landed up 7 years later, and this is the picture. Vision is 6.6 with just a 0.75 cylinder on dilation. Lens is pretty well centered, and I was very happy about it. Thank you so much for watching this entire video.